Sawgrass Inks Dye Trans paper. I'm just going to cut my design out. Did you get us back live? Awesome, of course you did. I don't know why we can't see comments on Facebook though.
We're getting a bunch.
Well, I can't see them. All right, guys, so I've got my design cut out, and I'm just going to line it up on my mug. The way I like to do this is...
So that's a morph mug, right?
This is a morph mug,
cool,
yes.
Cool.
So I'm going to bring the handle towards me and just kind of wrap it around. And just like so. I don't have any tape. Will you go into Doug's office and grab my tape, please?
Sure.
Thank you. All right.
You could just mist it with Pro Spray if you wish.
I guess I could. Yes, I could mist it with Pro Spray, David. All right, let's do that. All right, we're just going to Pro Spray.
So Pro Spray is one of those great equalizer products, I guess you'd say, good deal.
Okay.
And you can smooth the top and bottom rim so that you do a good job and smooth out any wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
The morph mugs are a color change mug, and they are quite fancy in that it's nice to be able to smooth it out. Wow, that works. And
what size paper we use for our mugs?
so the mug 11, the paper for a typical 11-ounce mug that we have that I designed that's pre-cut seems like it's 3.5 by 9.1 something. But if you go to our papers and look up one of the SPP numbers, Sam, Paul, you'll see all the papers up there. And we have lots and lots of pre-cut papers. And one of them is for 11 ounce, one's for 15 ounce. But over the years, people have said, you know, I really, really, really want this size paper for my mug the way they do it. So there's just a lot of papers there. But typically it's going to be obvious. You'll see a paper for 11 ounce and a paper 15 ounce. Now, they tend to stay off the very top and bottom of the mug. So the way I tell people, you know, is the traditional way of doing mugs with a mug press is I stay a 1/4 inch off the top and a 1/4 inch off the bottom of the mug. In other words, that's the limit of the paper. And if you're doing oven wraps, then oven wraps make it easy to do top to bottom mugs. But mug presses, it's just it's a little bit into the expert area to do great top and bottom mugs.
Cindy would like to know why we're using paper around the mug.
That is perhaps the very best question that will be asked today. Thank you for asking that question. And the reason is very simple. When the ink turns into a gas, it wants to seek a home. And if you do enough mugs or do enough pressings, that gas accumulates in places other than where you want it, and it will then stain the next product that you put in the press. So protecting the press from stray gas, protecting your product that you're sublimating from stray gas is always needed and necessary. So if you're not using cover paper on your products, mugs, then the day will come when you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because you'll start seeing tinges of yellow top and bottom. You'll see something at the handle, and basically what's happened is you've contaminated your press with a buildup of stray gas.
All right. So we can't have a Christmas mug without a Christmas mug box. So we're gonna do that same design. We're gonna do a box. So I'm
Love
just gonna.
the boxes.
I do too.
So cool.
So we're just gonna pro spray, just a little bit of pro spray. Stick it on there. So this mug box is, I think it's like MBX11W or something like that.
How much longer we got here? Okay.
Not too much longer. All right, so these are really easy. We're just going to do this image face down, and we're going to press it for 1 minute, 400 degrees.
So this box is a mug box with a window. Really great for a 11-ounce mug, and it sells extremely well. And that is because it's low cost, but when you put something in a nice looking box, guess what? You get to sell it for a lot more money.
That's right, you do.
Is that just a problem with human perception?
I believe it may be. I don't know if it's
But
a
it
problem.
really, it adds a sweet touch to your mugs. Very sweet. And of course you can put whatever you want on the box. You can put, for instance, on the bottom of it, reorder information, contact information, your website, you name it. And of course everybody wants a nice, looks like a store-bought custom mug for Christmas.
We also have a question. We are in the DTG business. Any suggestions for industrial mug production at 100 to 200 PCS?
So what did they say at the first of it?
They are in the DTG business.
Okay.
They want to know about industrial mug production.
So the question that came in is, and what was the number of mugs he said?
100 to 200. And
So-
they also want to know about the appropriate design size.
Yeah, the 100 to 200 is in the grand scheme of things, is not a lot of mugs in a day. Show us that. Wow, that looks good.
Isn't that cute? So we'll put the box together, and then we'll stick
Note
our
that the
in
mug
there.
is now white on the where the handle is,
That's right.
and as it cools, it's gonna. Now, we're doing a lot of things, so hate to throw so much at you, but we would want you to put the mug over a fan to cool it quickly. So since the mug is designed to keep things hot, the sublimation in the coating on that mug is still very active. If we don't stop the sublimation, the inks tend to blur. They have dot gain, they have dye migration. So we would want to, put it on a fan. I used to tell people to dip it in like lukewarm water, and I've had a couple of people over the years say that that's probably not such good advice, simply because everybody's definition of temperature is a little bit different, and ultimately, if the water is too cool, it'll fracture certainly the coating or potentially the glaze or the ceramic. So I think it's quite adequate. Just put it over a nice, powerful fan. You could put it on a cool plate if you have one, or a block of metal to sink the heat away quickly. Excellent. Excellent.
More questions? Someone wants to know if we sell the gloves that she was using.
We do not. I want to get back to real quick to the question about his mug. So for 150 to 200, you can do a mug certainly one every 5 minutes or so. So, how many is that? That's 12 an hour. So, if you don't take a break, of course, but you can 12 times 8, you're at 100 there. But the next step up in volume is to get you a normal kind of convection kitchen oven, and you use wraps which go around the mug, and then you put wraps in the oven. So let's say it's a normal size oven you would see at home. Put, say, 15 mugs in it, something like that. Cycle time is about 15 minutes, and so you'd have 3 sets of wraps. One set would be getting ready to go in the oven, one set would be in the oven, one set would be out of the oven. Using that workflow, you can put a heck of a lot of mugs through a low-cost kind of kitchen kind of convection. So it's at cycle time 15 minutes and you're ready to go. So that's, 4 sets per hour. So you're up to, theoretically about 60 mugs per hour if you, get everything done. And the 3 sets is important because, you want to have a set go immediately in. So, you're up to a very considerable amount of mugs in a day. Let's say you only work 6 hours on this. Well, that's almost 400 mugs. So that would be the approach for that kind of volume mugs. Now then, when you go above that, there are mug heat tunnels where you can get into extreme volume. The good news is, with an SG400, you can keep up with any sort of mug operation you could ever imagine. That puppy, you put the paper in there, that puppy's going to spit them out, put them on the mugs. And so it's just the pressing end of it that you would choose which option based on what you're after. Now, I tell everybody they ought to have a small little oven because there's so many items, of course, that you can't use in a heat press, a big dog bowl, stein, that kind of stuff. And I'm shopping now for Sprite. Didn't you ask for your Christmas wish? Is you want an oven?
Well, it was kind of like my May wish, but we'll take it in Christmas.
Yes,
That's
it is
fine.
true.
Yeah.
She's been after it because all our current ovens are not small enough. So she
right,
wants
they're
big
not small
toys,
enough.
big toys. And Hicks makes a commercial mug oven. And I was in conversation yesterday with him, see if he wants to get one in here for us to play with.
Beautiful.
I told him that would be beneficial. But regardless, a convection oven will absolutely get the job done.
Got a few questions here.
Yes, ma'am.
Ray wants to know if we have any information on the Digital Heat FX1550. Not sure what that is.
So I'm not positive, Ray, what that is. Digital FX seems like, is that a heat press?
Digital Heat FX, yeah, I believe
That's
it
a
is.
heat press. So I'm not sure what that brand is. Now, I can tell you the brands that are, we'll call them on Santa's good list. And so we sell George Knight presses. They're made in USA by a 130-year-old company. They're meant to last your lifetime and beyond. Stahl's also is out there, makes a good press made in the United States. Hicks, also made in the United States, and then Insta. So those are the 4 brands that are on the Made in USA list. So I suspect that the press you're talking about is a Chinese press, and Chinese presses are, to me, are hit and miss.
It says it's a smaller version of the Oki.
Okay, so you're not talking about a heat press. He's talking about an Oki. So the Oki presses, Oki printers are good, and we probably can have a discussion about that in the future. But the smallest Oki, I think, really that's wide is the Oki 711 WT. So I think Sprite is cooling the mug now. I hear water running.
Well, I'm trying to.
And so it's our quick way of doing it, and we will see. Still a little hot, looks like, but
We'll see if it cools down.
cooling
some.
down. So we'll just let it sit there. So maybe we can take that offline as far as your question about the Oki. But we sell the Oki brand products under the Oki brand. Okay?
Let's give some stuff away.
Please.
All right, please. All right, guys. So next week we will be announcing our best kitchen item winner. That winner will win $200, $100, or $50 in Condé credit. This week I have our $25 Condé credit winner, and that is Trinity's Treasures, and she did this really cute cutting board with a pot holder and an oven mitt. So really cute. You should have already received your email. Congratulations. Woo. And we have a weekly review winner. Janine Reed from the Royal Pug. She said she purchased the SG400 as the start to her little sublimation business, and she loves it. So thank you so much, Janine. You should have already received an email for your $25 gift certificate, Condé Cash. Guys, go leave me a review. I will give you 25 bucks. So there you go.
We have a lot of questions.
We have a lot of questions.
Okay. So let's start with, do you have any suggestions for what you can print with the SG400? Because, where'd it go? What can I use for the 400 for a box press?
What was the last
For a
words?
box press?
Yeah, it's what can I use for the 400 for a box press?
Box.
Okay. If you're asking about the mug box, then you're going to have to do it in two separate presses. You're going to have to print one half and then print the other half, and then kind of
If you got
tape
big enough
them together.
press, you can tape
Yeah.
them together, press them all at once. I wonder if that's what they're asking.
I don't know.
Someone would also like to know what the time and temperature for the Geonite mug press was.
So the question is, what are the times and temperatures? The times and temperatures, quote, quote, aren't for the press. They're for whatever you're pressing. And so you would go to where you're going to buy the product on our website. Below that, you'll see the instructions tab, and there would be the instructions. But typically, a normal 11-ounce, 15-ounce kind of mug in a DK3 or DK3T, 4.5, 5 minutes, something like that.
Yep.
400 degrees is somewhat the universal temperature, and so, but always familiarize yourself with our suggested instructions. Now, I will say one thing, and the mug is cooling. That looks cool.
Isn't that neat?
Isn't that?
See,
That is
you
so
guys
neat.
Can see that half of it's black.
Yeah, that's one of those oldie products that I bet most folks have forgotten.
Well,
what
they
a
know
great,
now.
what a great Christmas. Do we still have that in black and blue? I
We
wonder?
do. We have it in black and blue. Yes.
Wow, cool, cool. At any rate, when it comes to mug presses, if you already have a mug press, and if that press is not a George Knight, it is likely it's a Chinese press. And what I would tell you is that we can help you, but the first thing to do if you have a Chinese press is set the idle temperature and the press temperature to be the same. It is super important you do that. So set the idle temperature of the press as high as it'll go, and then make the press temperature the same regardless of what you think you should do. And then the timer will work correctly. Normally the timer starts when the press has reached press temperature. And that's a real problem because you might have to press something only for 2 seconds because the timer goes off then. So at any rate, if you have questions, please call us and let us help you, best we can, of course, use the equipment that you've already paid for. But if you're going to buy a press, there is a world of difference between a Chinese press and a George Knight press. Next question.
Can I press a mug box? I think we might have addressed this using the 400, and how would I do 2 pieces? So I think that answers the.
What was the 2 pieces?
Okay.
Regarding the SG400.
All right.
You
So
pressing what? The
Press
box?
the mug box.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you just go ahead.
yeah. So the mug box is creased, and when you get the template, you'll be able to break the template apart, and then you can just print this piece, print that piece, and when you go to press it, just tape it together in the center, and that should be fine because that's a crease line anyway, so it should be okay. Maybe one day I'll do a video on it or something.
So what do you know what the length of this is?
I do not.
So it's
Sound on YouTube.
Say again?
We lost the sound on it too.
Okay. It's showing, the meter's showing it's still going sound-wise. So, not sure. But at any rate, yeah, two prints for an SG400.
How long should a person expect the silicone cuff to last before having to replace it?
Is that silicone cuff, is she referring to the wrap?
Is she talking? Ask her to clarify.
Clarify, is she talking about this press?
Clarify, please. Here,
Just speak out loud to them. They can hear you. All right, guys, let's do something else. Okay, so I am, like I said, it's starting, well, it was cold here, and now it's warm. And one of these great things that we have in stock are these amazing scarves.
Feel great.
They're super comfortable, they're really warm, and they're pretty easy to do. So we're going to do this in 3 different steps.
Wow. Okay.
I know, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that hurt. So the first thing we're going to do is pre-press our design, and I do have some vapor foam laying down. Make sure I have it oriented correctly. All right.
So I tell you, you're going to do it in sections.
I'm going to do it in sections.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'm going to lint roll it.
This is adhesive lint roller, and why do we do that? Because there's sometimes lint will interfere with sublimation. Sometimes maybe we need to move the press just a tiny bit there, Miss Sprite.
What's that?
Don't want you running into stuff. But sometimes there is a certain kind of lint that when you hit it with heat, it turns into a blue, and it isn't coming out. And that blue is the optical brightener that's used in the manufacture of the fabric.
They would like to know why we need the foam.
I was going to answer that question. So, ultimately, the foam was designed to help you eliminate crease lines when you're doing shirts. So, since paper has thickness, when you press a piece of paper into the shirt, the polyester creases. You know, everybody's heard of a permanent press polyester or permanent crease in polyester, but it creases the fabric. Once it's creased, it will not wash out, and it's very difficult to get out, bordering on impossible. So the vapor foam pad is designed so that it's a little bit smaller than the transfer, so that the edge of the paper hangs off the pad, and so that when you press with relatively light pressure, the edge floats and it doesn't hit hard bottom, therefore it doesn't crease the fabric. And so if you do your first shirt, you will see that you now have a crease mark. And so the mark of a professional, obviously, is to do shirts and do other fabric products without a crease. As long as, in this case, the transfer paper is bigger than, from the width, the transfer paper is bigger than the scarf, right?
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about the creasing on the sides because the edge of the paper is off the product. But on the top and bottom, that's where we do it. So what she did is she used relatively light pressure, and if you were able to get it eye level with the press, which is a good thing to look at that, you would see that she's compressing the pad a little bit, but she's not flattening it, meaning that the edges of the transfer probably will not crease the fabric. Another technique is to decal the edge of the paper, that is tear, so that the edge now has a soft edge to it, and so when it does crease the fabric, it's very difficult to see where the paper's been.
Should they change out the paper that they use on top every time?
You want to answer?
Yeah, so the question is, should they change out the paper on the top every time? And the answer is yes. You know, we use the butcher paper to catch, you know, spare dye. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, you can kind of see it. So I'm not going to be able to use that again, because if I were to use it again, it would go into my next transfer.
So if you didn't use cover paper, you've now contaminated your press. And furthermore, some people will want to use Teflon. And we are anti-Teflon around here. And the logic is very simple. You can sublimate the Teflon. The ink won't hurt the Teflon, but it will get on the next product it touches. So you're continuously having to clean off your Teflon. Number two, Teflon is a moisture barrier. So as moisture is coming out of everything, if the Teflon is on top, it's going to cause that moisture to pool. That moisture turns into steam, and it will ruin your transfer. So moisture is our evil enemy. And Teflon is just an enabler for bad things to happen in sublimation. I think there are 4 products that I recommend you use Teflon for. One is the sublimation patches because of the adhesive, the mates material, the subless sparkle, and the hot plate you know, fabric thing because of the silver that's on the back of it. If you just push that silver into the bottom, that silver tends to come off. So that's why I think it's very wise to read our instructions so that you know, you can use those as a great starting point.
Giles would like to know if that's the foam that comes with the Vapor t-shirt kit, and is the foam bigger than 16 by 12?
So the question is that the foam that comes with the Vapor foam kit? It absolutely is. I cannot remember, you may need to just look it up, Crystal, what the actual width of the foam is, but I'm sort of guessing the width is about 17 inches. And then it's a roll, so you cut what you need. But it seems like it's about 17 inches, but she'll look it up, I can't remember.
18 by 22.
Okay, so it's 18 inches in width, and the 22 I think is feet. So 18 inches wide, 22 feet long.
Alicia would like to know if they can use parchment paper.
So the client has asked about parchment paper. The answer is yes. You can use parchment paper. We buy our paper sometimes from Sam's Club. We buy it sometimes from Uline. It's inexpensive. It's white. Works great. So please do it.
All right.
Another question, Ms. Crystal? Nope.
We've got some back here, but I'm going to have to just go back and answer them because they're not all related.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
So the questions that have come up have been excellent today. And let me just say this. So these questions fall under what I call best practices. And it all starts with, of course, having the right tools, you know. We traditionally would like you to have, of course, heat tape, pro spray, a white Nomex pad, a green rubber pad, your cover paper, you know, obviously a pair of scissors, your lint roller. So those are just the, you know, those are the essential tools, and I think most of them are inexpensive. So it all starts with, of course, that, then keeping an area nice and clean. Where'd our mug go? Okay, wow, cool. It's all black again.
It is all black now.
And so your Condé rep certainly can assist you with understanding these things. Watch our videos and frankly ask questions. Often you'll see how we're doing things in videos, and I would say good portion of the time things are going well. And but by the way, we might have done a video, say 7 or 8 years ago, that is still up, but now the instructions for that product are a fair bit different. And so why would we change instructions? Sprite, can you answer that question? Why would we change instructions?
We would change instructions because we find better ways to do things. We are constantly reevaluating our products, reevaluating the way we do things, and we want you to work faster, work smarter. So that's why we do that.
In addition, we change our instructions because the materials, the substrates, also change. And so ultimately what we're after is a balance with best quality and shortest amount of time. So we definitely spend lots of time discussing things around here as far as improving our transfer technique, the time, the temperature, the pressure, and then the technique, how we stack things up. So all that definitely gets debated a lot, and the good news is that we hear lots and lots of feedback from our clients like yourselves to help us help you. And that's one of the great things that I very much enjoy coming to work every single morning, knowing that we have so many great clients that are sharing with each other, sharing with us about what is working for them, what's not working for them, and letting us know, sort of what's our marching orders to do better.
I have a few questions. I would like to know why the green pad. So why do we use it?
So the green pad is sort of a great way to ensure that we've got good contact with the substrate. An example would be our subless slate. It's not quite flat, and so trying to make it mate with the heat platen is just challenging. But great solution is to put the transfer face down, put the green pad on top. And that goes a long way to ensuring great even contact and to really do a great job of diffusing the heat into the substrate. So over the years, we've tried to eliminate any special things from any of our products so that they're as simple to do as possible. For instance, our glass today, other than a fabric on top, is all you need. Oh, wow. You can give that to Doug. Doug is a big, big Star Wars fan,
I don't even like Doug.
Yeah.
All right, guys, look at this. This was pretty awesome.
It is. Great job, Sprite.
So you've got your little kind of Santa Claus Star Wars. May the Force be with you. So pretty
Fantastic.
cool. I don't wear scarves.
And
very
you could sublimate both sides.
You could definitely do both sides.
If you were highly motivated.
Which I am not. So, all right.
Diane has further questions regarding the foam. Can it be used more than once? And
Yeah.
have we ever seen it melt or stick to any item?
So she's asking about the vapor foam kit, and the answer is yes. You can continue to use the vapor foam until it has no more squash to it.
It's a technical term.
Yeah, very, very technical. And we have used vapor foam for many, many years. And assuming the heat press hasn't gone crazy, I've not seen the vapor foam melt. But certainly, there are occasions where a press goes crazy. But you put the foam on the bottom, you put your cover paper next. Generally, you'll put your shirt next, then put a piece of paper in between the layers of the shirt, especially if you're doing double-sided shirts, and then transfer face down, cover paper.
All right. Moving right along. Do you have a question?
Going back to the cups, when using the oven method, do we need a separate oven due to the gases?
Ah, yes, and I should have mentioned that. Yes, you need a separate oven. Do not use your oven for both food and sublimation. And it's sort of like common sense, not to do that because obviously only put food in the oven if you're going to use it for food. So I have been to a lot of clients. I've looked at ovens and seen it. And so ultimately, going back to what I mentioned about the stray sublimation gas, on an oven that's been used for a while, you can actually, when it's cool, take your finger and wipe on the edge, and lo and behold, you'll wipe the sublimation powder, because it's no longer a gas. It's cooled down to be back into a powder or solid state. And because the panels inside an oven are usually coated with something that is impervious to sublimation. I don't think they're anodized, but gosh, I forgot the term they use for those panels. But at any rate, you can just wipe the gas off, and so certainly I wouldn't want to have anything to do with that gas with my food.
You know why this is so cool? I just realized this. So you give this to somebody as a gift, and they think they get a black mug, and then they put coffee in it, and they're like, wait, it matches the box.
That's
Sometimes
cool.
I'm a genius, and I don't even know it.
That's cool.
All right.
Does George Knight heat press stand have a butcher paper hanger?
So the question is there a butcher paper roller built into a George Knight press? Not today, but we can always ask Aaron Knight at the George Knight Company to consider another add-on accessory for it. But generally speaking, you can position your roll relatively close to your press and peel off. But interesting idea.
Further, Catherine says, you mentioned another Nomex pad. How is that different from the green foam pad?
Okay, so we have quite a few different consumables here at Condé. This is just a small piece, but this is the Nomex pad, and this is a felt type pad, and then this is our heat conductive rubber. It's like a rubber, and then we also have the vapor foam. So
very different functions here. This generally would always go on the bottom. This generally would always go on the top. And so the Nomex pad is designed to accommodate a product as you're closing it, to make sure it mates with the platen properly. Again, these are just our toolbox of products on how to transfer to a bunch of stuff. And so trying to think of a product that benefits. So if you're doing a lot of, for instance, this time of year, porcelain Christmas ornaments, typically, absolutely, you want to use the Nomex pad to keep them from breaking. With the ceramic tiles, do we still need?
Both. Yeah, for the tiles you use both Nomex on the bottom and heat conductive rubber on the top. So yeah, I mean, like we always say, check our instructions. If you have any questions, call your sales rep. We're always here to help.
In the grand scheme of things, for new people, it may seem like a lot, but it isn't. It's very much like cooking. You have your stuff to cook with, and put the ingredients together, cook long enough, and things are good.
That's right.
All right, what we're going to do?
We're going to do a beanie.
Wow.
I'm really excited about this. Okay, so the way we do our beanies is I have a piece of our foam, our vapor foam, and I just cut it. I just kind of cut around the beanie and just shaped it. So we're going to stick this in there.
What kind of oven brand do you recommend?
So the question is, do we recommend a brand of oven? And for a big one, like you'd find in the kitchen, the answer is no. I don't have a brand that is any better or worse than another brand. For the small little ovens, the one I think Sprite you probably like the best is probably the Cuisinart brick oven. That I don't think is sold anymore. Another oven sitting right here is the Wolfgang Puck pressure oven, and I think you had good success with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are small ovens, and Sprite, of course, has graduated beyond that. Also, with the oven, probably the most important thing with the oven is to buy an internal thermometer that you can put in there that you can see through the window. You cannot trust the knob. Isn't going to work. And so you need a thermometer, and there are some people that have two of them, one on each side of a large kitchen oven. You know, that's what you need for that. I think an oven, for almost any mature sublimator, an oven, really good accessory to have, even if it's a small one. What all things you can do? You can do the new polymer products. You can do dog bowl, the large steins. And even more products are coming that are oven only. Where's the
What are you looking for, David?
Ah, here it is. So this is a product that can only really be done in an oven, and this is the part you sublimate. It's just a high-tech polymer shield, polymer insert, and you put your transfer on here. You put the little sleeve over it, put it in your oven, and take it out, and you're done. And then after it cools, you can put it together, and you've got probably, of all the products this year, I think this is certainly one of my favorites. Is the favorite in the drinkware category, for sure.
Excuse me.
So very, very exciting product.
Giles asks, I just bought a bypass tray from you for the SG800. Do I keep it on all the time or only when I need it?
So the question is, they have an SG800, bought the bypass tray, and they're wondering about, do they keep it installed all the time? Yes. So you would always have it on the printer, and I strongly recommend that you keep the printer turned on all the time. So I also recommend is to get you one of the little UPSs. That's an uninterruptible power supply, and you would hook your computer and your sublimation printer to it. Don't hook a laser printer to it or anything that takes a lot of electricity. And that's because neither your computer nor the printer really like to have a power loss. And so little UPS is a big step above a typical surge suppressor. You know, more lightning protection, and then of course you get protection for a momentary power outage.
Do we have any information on a bypass tray for GX7000?
So the question is about a bypass tray for the GX7000. GX7000 was one of the very, very first Ricos that we offered, and it was a stellar champ. And it had a bypass tray just like the new ones. You could contact your Condé rep, and we could do a check internally to see if we've got any that are here. Over the years, when people have retired their printers, I've asked them to send us back their bypass tray so we could, help somebody else that needs one, because obviously there are no more that I know of bypass trays that are new for a 7000.
And Richard asks, is the oven for round items or flat like plates?
So it would be for round items. So it would not generally be used for flat things, although, I suppose you could try to use it for a plate, but I don't think that would be the right thing to do. What you making over here? Oh, we're still doing the beanie.
Oh, we're still doing the beanie. All right.
Cool.
Isn't that cute? Look at that. Look at that. So really easy, just 2 presses. hot, 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 hot.
So are you going to wear it to our ugly sweater contest?
I have my own ugly sweater, thank you
Okay.
very much. So this is really cute. It says Merry Christmas. Super cute, double-sided. You want to put it on?
Um,
I'll put it on. It's a little warm.
does that make you a hothead at this point?
My head is too small. It's cute though. It works.
It
Kyle
is.
asks, is it worth getting a second paper tray for the SG800 to keep 8x5 by 11 in one and larger paper in the other?
So these are questions that I love. And so the question is, with whatever printer you have, often with an 800 you'll get the bypass tray, and the reason is because it prints wider. It'll print 13-inch width. And so his question is, should I buy another bottom tray? And I think it's really a matter of budget. Obviously, you can open the old one, take out you can open the built-in tray, you can take the paper out and put it in size. But I don't think the trays are very expensive, and that really is a great convenience item to have that bottom tray. So if you come by and visit with us at a trade show, you'll see my kiosk printer, and the kiosk printer has a total of 4 paper sources. It's an SG400. So I've got the bypass tray for it, and I've got the built-in tray, and then I've got 2 extra bottom trays, or 1 extra. I guess it's 1 extra bottom tray. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3 paper sources. And I do that because the kiosk runs almost by itself, and I've got to have all the papers online. I can't be playing with papers. So if it was me, and if it's your budget, I think it would be a very convenient and move to do that.
Catherine asks, how do we avoid getting the white edge on hats?
How do you avoid getting the white edge on hats? I think if you're speaking of this, I think one way is did you wrap the transfer?
I did not wrap the transfer, but it does have, I mean, there's really not that much of a white edge other than kind of where the seam came apart. I mean, let me show you, Catherine. It's not that.
So if you're referring to the hat, I think it's not too much in there, but wrapping the transfer like we do the Huggies and other things, I'm not positive would have made a big difference. Tell you what, let us do this. We'll take it offline and report back and let you know. So obviously, if it's a solid color, then you're going to potentially have the issue.
Any reversible sequined pillowcases or stockings coming soon?
You know, the question is about the Sequined Pillows, and I know a lot of people have been excited about those. It's one of those kinds of things that probably we should have sold a long time ago, but we just didn't find a pillow that we liked, that sublimated as well as we hoped, and I think to some extent we continue to review it, and so no product today. Sorry.
All right, we're almost done here.
Are the beanies one size?
Are the beanies one size? I do
No,
not know.
there's a small and there's a large.
They
Ooh,
are really soft.
will you look at that?
Wow.
Gingerbread socks.
That is super cool.
Isn't that nice? These look really, really sharp.
Now, the lady who asked about the white edge and all that, because these have a built-in jig,
Ah.
the edges do extraordinarily well. Go ahead and peek at the edges. Just make sure,
So I don't burn myself?
please,
Okay.
please.
What would you do without me, David?
I absolutely do not know. So you look at the quality of that edge because of the built-in jig.
Yeah.
And
super nice.
doing it with the Sublime sock suddenly makes life so easy. They are just
God,
so
that
easy
color
to
is
do.
great.
And going back to the bypass tray for a second, this is, if you have a 400, this is where pretty much you may need to get you a bypass tray for the 400 to print longer. What was the length that you needed there? Do you recall?
It was the 13 by 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's longer than 14 inches, which is what the built-in tray does. So the bypass tray on the 400 just allows you to print longer. We have paper that's cut that's 8.5 by 21. So that would allow you to do this kind of thing at least one sock at a time.
Yep. I'm done.
Okay. So what remain questions, Miss Crystal?
I think we have some that probably need to come offline that aren't related.
Okay.
So we'll have
Okay.
So is just as far as closing comments. So if you happen to get a printer during our Black Friday week, let's help you get it set up. And if you have a printer that's still in the box, let us walk you off the cliff or whatever and help you get it set up.
That's a good saying. But,
you don't think that's a good
okay.
one?
That's all
Let
right.
us help you get it set up.
We do have a good question.
What's that?
Regarding the Sublime socks, someone wants to order, but they're concerned about the writing on the bottom.
Okay, so we have a concern about the writing on the bottom of the Sublime socks, and they no longer have the Sublime logo on there. So you can now get them without them. I am just using the ones that we have in stock to kind of use them up. So you can order them without the logo.
Just to reiterate, the question was regarding the name, and obviously this is the kind of feedback we love to hear from you folks, and so we did remove it. There might be just a tiny bit of inventory, but there's certainly...
We have a fan outside the window that's actually watching us on Facebook.
Isn't that wild? Who is it?
I don't know. She just walked by. Thank you.
I guess that's sort of like the viewing area or something.
Yeah. Oh, we could do like the Today Show, and they can all have like signs.
Signs out there, but
Sprite's our favorite.
So we have eliminated the name from those products.
Is the template that's on the socks a Condé design?
Is the
template?
Is this design a Condé design? No, it's not. No.
Okay. Can they do one of the hats using a bypass tray using an SG400?
Oh, yeah. You could actually. Well, I don't know, David.
I don't.
What's the biggest you can?
8.5 by 14
yeah,
from the built-in tray.
Work.
So I'm glad you spotted that.
But you can do.
So you could do it. Obviously, you just can't do a full bleed design. So you could keep the hat white, which for many folks would be certainly a great design.
And that's one of the things that I saw today when I was researching was just the white hats with the monogram on it, or like the deer horns or the camo things that So you could definitely do that.
So I would say that would be a winning strategy. But if you insisted on a full bleed design, then no, you would need the bigger printer.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So don't forget your chance to win Condé Cash. Upload your images to our client gallery. Tell us what you're doing. Submit a blog at submitablog@conde.com.
So let's make sure we have our giveaways done here.
Oh yeah, we forgot about our giveaway.
The things that you can take advantage of on your next order or whatever. I think we're going to do a giveaway of a colored shirt. So I wrote an article, turned it in for printwear recently, and it was based on feedback from you folks, and there seemed to be an overwhelming number of people that believed you could not sublimate to colored shirts. And now we've got, okay, and now we've got just an array of more colors to that. So here's the deal. If you've not sublimated to a color shirt, just simply put a note on your order, let your Condé rep know. We'll throw in a colored shirt so you can experience it. I think once you get hooked on colored shirts for sublimation, they look so good, may never go back to white. Number two is, were we going to throw in a sock or here to get you? So on your next order, just let your Condé rep know, put in your notes. If you would like one of the Sublime, like the crew sock, we'll give you a free, pair of those. And, you can use it, make yourself, your maybe some high volume socks, something.
Yeah.
Really. And then
Stocking stuffers.
And then number three is the pencil holders, which is, we'll call it classified as a donation project, meaning we really want you to do something that makes a difference in somebody else's lives with this product. Recognize them for maybe what they've done for you, your family, and others this Christmas. Our firemen, our police officers, our men in uniform, men and women in uniform, so take advantage of that. Anything else, and we will close.
Is there a minimum order?
$50. $50. So that should be easy. And again, we want to thank everybody for supporting us during this Black Friday week, supporting the sublimation community. And that's one of the things we, reinvest in our company. When you make a profit here, it's all going back to our company to help us grow and to help you be successful.
Yep.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
Sprite.
guys.
Great for Miss Sprite. And thank you, Crystal,
Thanks,
behind the
Crystal.
camera. And till next Friday.
Bye, guys.